Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So, I'm actually releasing this video early. I ran into an issue with Code Vein. I'll have to explain it when I record the next episode, but it did not record a single bit of audio, and I made a decent amount of progress, but not like, nothing super major. So in my Destiny 2 build video, I unfortunately couldn't get it done before Bungie took the servers down, so we're here. So just really quickly, here's the deal. So we're gonna go ahead and put supers in a tier list. Um, F being you should never use, and S being you should absolutely use 100%. We're going through all of the classes. I'm going to give my opinions on all of them. Right, like in their current sandbox. Not in Act 2. Once you get into Act 2, I will release an updated version of this with content creators preferably that are Warlock mains or Hunter main, since I'm a Titan main. And I'll get another Titan to reaffirm my thoughts on some of these. So it's going to be after doing some testing and everything. And also the video will be a little bit better in terms of, how it's structured in the follow-up to this. Also, this upcoming Thursday, Stellar Blade stream will be happening starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. It will last until about somewhere between 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to pull up if you want to see a certain outfit. I'll go ahead and slap it on for a bit. If I don't like the outfit and you still request it, I will put it on you for a little bit, then take it off. But and it'll be on New Game Plus Hard Mode. It'll be using the same setup as like I completed my Platinum in, so I'll be using my Platinum save. But yeah, it should be a good time. So make sure to pull up for that. But let's go ahead here and get into this. This is Arc Staff, isn't it? Yeah, this is Arc Staff. Hunter, I'm probably the most unfamiliar with. So Arc Staff, I don't see any hunters really using it. I don't use it myself. There's no reason to really run this over Gathering Storm, so I'm putting this at C. We'll actually go through Hunters, then Warlocks, then Titans. I'll leave Titans for last, because I might have some hot takes with that. The next Hunter one, this one is an S tier super. Doesn't need an exotic. It's the only super, well, it's the only super you can use grapple in the middle of. So why the fuck is there type of commercial on the left? But, so this one is, I forgot what the name of it exactly is, but it is very, very strong, in my opinion. It's very strong. Ooh. This one is the 3-prong, and this one is the single. I'm actually going to lower this to A. I'm going to lower this to A. It's a tough toss because I personally like both of them. Both of these are good. They're extremely situational, so I'm actually going to put them both in S. They are extremely, extremely good supers. Like an Onslaught, absolutely fantastic for ad clearing, but also damage. You want to throw out a quick debuff. If you don't have a debuff, bam, tether. Both of these are extremely, extremely really good. If you're a hunter and you're on Void, you realistically should be using either one of these two. Depending on your setup, of course. And honestly, it's up to personal preference, in my opinion. Okay. I like how hunters have the most supers with augmentations to them. Why? Like, we have marksman and the quick shot, I believe the other golden gun is called. Both of these I'm putting in A, but above Silkstrike. I forget which one is which, but you're only using it realistically for damage. You're not really using it outside. By the way, we're talking for PvE only. I do know this is really strong in PvP, but I'm only going to count these in PvE. You're not using this without Celestial Nighthawk, realistically speaking. I am going to hold that against it, but is it really good with a Celestial and like Steel Hunt? Absolutely. So yeah, that's why they're going in A above Silkstrike. I do know one was significantly worse than the other, but one is more useful for like if you want to use it for BFP targets and not a boss, and the other one is for single target damage. But I forget which symbol is which. Now, Gathering Storm is also really good. I'm going to put it in A as well. I think it's a little bit better than Silk Strike. Because Silk Strike, you kind of have to be at a certain distance to make it do optimal damage, but it's really good for ad clearing. Gathering Storm is good for ad clearing, not really, but it's really good for arc single target damage, and it's really good with the arc melee setup. So I'm putting Gathering Storm in A. Is it better than Golden Gun? No, but it's up there. It's up there for sure. Spectral Blaze is going to be in the first F. This is dog shit. I don't think I outside of PvP, outside of like more like Gambit specifically, I have never seen a single Void Hunter using this outside of like Gambit and PvP. This super's really bad. This is really bad. Like probably one of the worst supers in the game. Is it bottom 3? No, but it's an F for sure. For sure. Now, do I want to handle this? Let's do the stasis one first before I get into blades. This one it's not as strong as it used to be. I'm gonna put it a B. It's strictly an ad clear. It's really only good at applying a frozen debuff essentially. It's not particularly fantastic at strictly like killing ads, but it's really good in Gambit. And it used to be strong when it first came out, like really, really strong. It's not the same as it was. It's in my opinion, the best out of the Stasis Supers currently. I don't think Silk Strike is the best out of the Supers, but this one is the best out of the current Stasis setup. It's solid. I think it's a solid B. Now, Blades. Blades, in my opinion, is a little better than it's a little bit better than Gathering Storm, because Gathering Storm can do single target and ad clear, but I think Blades actually is a little bit better at the whole ad clearing aspect, and I love using it with Shards of Galanor. I gotta be perfectly honest. I wish there were more exotics that tied into Shards of Galanor, but I personally do like using Shards over Golden Gun, because Golden Gun, the iffy thing with Golden Gun is if you miss, you're screwed. You're screwed. You might as well just hang up the towel if you miss that shot. You can't miss that shot. But Shards, you can afford to miss just a little bit with Blades. So I prefer Blades. I do think Blades is a really, really solid super. Solar Being is a really good sweep of supers for Hunter. You really can't go wrong, depending on what you need, of course. Now, again, these two Golden Guns, I don't remember by symbol which is which. I believe this is a sharpshooting one. The sharpshooting one is 3 shots, so yeah, let's put it there. I believe this is the 6-shotter. I'm going to put it below Gathering Storm. I think that's what I'm going to do. But that is it for Hunters. That's going to be it for Hunters. Again, keep in mind this is before Act 2 patches, and don't worry, I will post an updated video on all of these, talking to a Hunter main, a Warlock main, and another Titan main, since I'm a Titan main myself. I have played all 3 characters, but I play the most of Titan. I play Warlock a little, at least I used to, play Warlock quite a bit, and Hunter is one of those characters where it's like, I only do it if I need something. Speaking of Warlocks, on to Warlocks. We're going to talk about Stasis Super. This is better than Gathering Storm, but it's in C tier. It's in C tier for sure. Just because you're able to shatter the Stasis Crystals you create, but I don't know if it's just me, but when like Azure's Scepter came out, you were using it on Stasis Warlock specifically for the turrets, but also because the super's useless. The super is just it's just an enhanced version of the melee. That's something I'm not a huge fan of. Again, I do know it has a place in PvP, but in PvE, this is not as strong. It's not good at single target damage, but it's also not good at ad clear either. So it's not good at either of those. So that's why it's at C. It's not bad per se. It's serviceable, but yeah, that's the issue with that. Okay. That's Cataclysm. This is the Slow Bomb. This is Slow Bomb. I think it's B. Is it? By the way, we're not organizing this by class. We're organized by what is better than what. So, it's a solid Slow Bomb is a solid. It's solid. I personally don't like Cataclysm. I do know people like to use it, but out of respect for that, I see you do see it used a lot. I personally don't like it. Again, the Nova Bombs aren't super great at damage, but they aren't good at ad clear either. So, like, eh, eh. But actually, I'll put this. I recognize this use. I personally enjoy using Slow Bomb more, but this is more ubiquitous. I usually pair this with Nezarixin, Slow Bomb with Nezarixin. Nova Warp is not as bad as Spectral Blades, but it's definitely going to stay at bottom of C. Wait, there's a whole entire tier missing. There's D missing. Hold on a second. Oh, whoa. Whoa, what am I doing? Fix yourself. Sorry. I have to add a row here, because... What the fuck? now that I've realized it, I'm like, why the fuck is there no D tier? Because I think this is the perfect embodiment of D tier. Yeah, this is the perfect embodiment of D tier. C being serviceable. Cosmic Storm is not good either. But it does have some usage, so... Nova Warp is just not great. It's just not great. Yeah, I think Nova Warp is the perfect embodiment of a D tier. Spectral Blades is still being an F. Now, Needle Storm. Needle Storm is kind of tough because it acts like it wants to be a boss damager, but realistically speaking, it's an ad clearing super. It's like a one-off ad clearing super, which is quite strange. It can definitely be used for DPS, but I feel like the role it actually fits in is a burst ad clearing super. I think it's a B tier. It's a one-off. It has threatenings. It feels into a lot of the Warlock abilities. It's solid. It's all. I'll put it in A. I'll put it in A. Bottom of A. Bottom of A. I think that's the best spot. Best spot for it. I think that's the best spot for it. Storm Trance. Storm Trance. Oh, Song of Flame is not here. I just realized Song of Flame is not here. Okay, I'm back here. So I realized that 3 of the supers are missing, so I added them here. We'll tackle these at the end, because I have thoughts about them. Okay, yeah, Gathering... Okay, this is the Storm Trance. I believe that's what the super is called. The exotic's called Crown of Tempest. This is a pretty solid... I'm going to put this in B tier. And I think it's better than ad clear at Withering Blade, but I think it's really solid B tier super. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, but it isn't really good either at ad clear. No. There are definitely better supers at it, at its job. Dawnblade. I love the super. I actually use the super over Song of Flame and Well, because I like using it with Prometheus Spur. But I'm also quite the contrarian, so Dawnblade's okay. I wish it built up more Scorch stacks is my thing here. Where did I put it? Also, it has Dawn Chorus, and it has that floating super. It has the floating deal as well. It has usage. It's mostly a PvP super, though, is the problem. Being in the air is not necessarily a good idea. I'm gonna pull. It's much better than that. I'm putting it at bottom of B. Bottom of B. I was gonna keep it. Bottom of B. Bottom of the B. Chaos Reach I actually like. It's a decent damage super, but it's also a really good ad clearing super. I'm actually putting this in A. I don't think it's as good as Needle Storm, no, but I do actually like Chaos Reach. Hot take, but Chaos Reach is actually pretty decent. Don't worry, my hot takes have not quite arrived yet. Well is not the same it used to be. It's still a solid super, but the sword can get destroyed pretty easily, and I don't know, I never necessarily liked Well that much. It is strictly better than Dawnblade. Is it better than the Stasis Hunter Super? Absolutely not. Is it better than Storm Trance? No, in my opinion. I will swap these two, however. But I think, well, it's just a B. Just a B. And again, we're tackling these three at the end. So I am going to actually make a brand spanking new one once everything's been updated too. So this will look a lot nicer in the updated version of this video. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Okay, on to Titans. This is I have the most expertise in. Blade Fury is S tier. Is it as good as these two? No, but it's a really solid super because you can suspend at a distance then get closer. You have Banner of War, Synthesis works well with it, Gorgon's Caress works well with it, and the new Strand Titan Exotic, if you have not tried that, definitely try it out, works extremely well with it. It's just a really solid super with a lot of options to build into a for sure S tier. It's good at boss damage, it's good at act clearing, like, it's an S tier super. For sure, guaranteed. Speaking of non-S tier supers, Burning Maul, in my opinion, is D. I think it is worse than Nova Warp. I don't see really anyone using this. It cannot hit flying enemies. Titans have a massive problem with supers not being able to hit flying enemies. Hunters do not have a single super that cannot hit a flying enemy, besides Arcsteph, arguably. But even then, you can kind of jump. Nova Warp, you can jump and hit flying enemies. Oh, Blade Fury is another one, which is why it's so low. But it's rare for the other Guardian classes to not have supers that can hit flying enemies. But Titans have multiple supers that cannot hit flying enemies. And Burning Maul is one of them. Pyro Gales is the only reason why this thing is not an F. The only reason why it gets used is because of Pyro Gales. It belongs in D. And Pyro Gales' damage is not as good as it used to be. Like, it's fine, but being realistic here, you're only using Pyro Gales for damage now if you need that solar survivability. It's just not as good as Thunder Crash or Axis, like, flat out. Hammer Assault, though, is honestly, in my opinion, an A-tier exotic. I mean, not exotic, it's an A-tier super. It's better than Golden Gun, no. It's better than Blades. In my opinion, Hammer Assault is extremely good. It's not good without Sol Invictus, though. You need Sol Invictus. It's really good with Sol Invictus, Roaring Flames. You can also use it with Holofire Heart. Because this super is more of a panic, I need to add clear super and you stay alive. And it's really good with Phoenix Cradle. So, I'm sorry Warlocks, but Titans are really good at the support role. You have Bubble, you have Phoenix Cradle. Phoenix Cradle is actually pretty decent. Especially for like Crota's End when that was really difficult to survive with Crota, and with Crota destroying the wells, Crota can't destroy Sunspot, so it's an indestructible buff that you can give to everyone. So Hammer Assault is a really, really solid super, has a lot of solid options. It's not S tier because it's just not great at damage, and sometimes it's a little on the tracking, but it will always hit something with the sunspots, absolutely. So yeah, and I forgot about the release, but you have so many options with Hammer Assault. So that's why I'm putting it at A. It's not as good as Golden Gun, because Golden Gun, it has it's just so good at single target damage. It belongs in A, but because it can't do anything else, that's why the reason why it's also in A. Fist of Havoc, F tier. F tier. And by the way, actually, yeah, I take back my statement of Spectral Blades not being bottom 3. It is bottom 3. I would say Burning Maul. I would say Fist of Havoc is the worst super in the game, hands down. Then I would say Spectral Blades. Then I would say Burning Maul. Because Nova Warp can at least volatile enemies. Fist of Havoc also has the problem of not being able to hit flying enemies. And using the argument of you can jump and do it, no, you have to be sprinting and jump in order to just shoulder charge an enemy that's flying. Fist of Havoc is dog shit. And it has to compete with Thunder Crash, which we'll get to. But holy shit, I know Fist of Havoc has Eternal Warrior, but like, what the fuck? Fist of Havoc desperately needs an exotic that is not the Fist of Eternal Warrior. That's not Eternal Warrior, that augments the super in a meaningful way. Similar to how Pyro Gales augments Burning Maul. And actually, because it has Pyro, I'll actually put it above Nova Warp. but I do think Burning Wall by itself is pretty bad. The Fist of Havoc just... You can pair it with Syntheseps, but by the way, this is after I have tested this multiple times, because I was making a Necrosiva build, which I had posted like quite a bit ago. The issue with Fist of Havoc and Syntheseps is once you do that slam down, you have that bonus damage, absolutely. But the shoulder charge does not cover enough distance to get to another group of adds. In my opinion, I would personally rather there be a lot more of a lunge forward than slamming, so then you can kind of just be like a ping pong ball. Bam, slam over here, bam, slam over there, bam, slam over here, bam, slam over there. You know, that sort of deal. It's just really, really bad. Sentinel Shield, I think it's a perfectly good B tier super. I'm actually going to put it top of B. I'm going to put it at top of B. Now, those of you that are veterans and haven't messed with the super in a while, be like, oh, but Ursa Furiosa is not worth sacrificing damage, you know, this. You should never, ever, ever be using Sentinel Shield for its... for at this point, it should never ever be used for guarding. You should never really guard with the super. Unless you are in a GM setting or higher end content setting, then you can guard while you're resing and protect. Right? Essentially being a movable barricade. However, should you be using this during damage? No, it's an ad clearing super. That's what it's for. And in my opinion, Void Titan has the best variety of supers. It has the best variety of supers. Because you have support with Bubble, you have ad clear with Sentinel Shield, and you have boss damage with Axes. Sentinel Shield is pretty good, being perfectly honest. Especially after the shield throw tracking changes, that does affect the super. Doomfang Pauldrons is extremely, extremely good with this. Especially for higher density type of encounters, it's extremely good. Especially in Onslaught too, because there's a lot of buildings the shield throw can bounce off of. And if you're wearing power preservations, you can generate a crap ton of orbs feeding into everybody's supers. It's just a really, really solid super. Just don't use it to block. Don't use it like that. Like, what are you doing? Well, this is not Destiny 1. You should not be using it like this. And if you are guarding, it's to revive someone safely. It's definitely to revive someone safely. And we'll get to revive people safely and that sort of deal later. Thunder Crash, in my opinion, is an S tier super. Is it as good as Blade Fury? No, but it's an S tier super. It's the only good arc super that Titan has. Well, to be fair, we have two options, but Titans don't have a lot of insta, you know, use supers. We don't have a ton of them. We literally only have two, but not counting Bubble because it's a support super. But Thunder Crash is really solid. It does solid damage by itself. It does solid damage by itself with no boost or anything like that. Which that's what its major problem was before when they put it on Prismatic. And Curse of the Falling Star, they finally add something a little bit more to it than just giving it damage, extra damage. Now getting melee kills, you know, will refund a little bit of your super energy. I feel like you could also, I don't know, put Spirit of Kiras on the exotic class item, you know? Spirit of the Kiras, you know, letting melee hits regen your super, or, you know, giving supers a little bit extra damage, you know? Not to the level of Star Eater, of course, but, you know, bumping that up a little bit, you know, that'd be kind of nice. You know what I'm saying? But really solid super all around. You can use it for ad clearing. Do I recommend it necessarily? Not really, but you do gain a massive damage resist if you're going into a group of ads. You Thunder Crash real quick, then it gives you a little bit of time to skedaddle. And higher end content is you can die very quickly while in the middle of your super. So I wish you had a little bit more damage resistance while casting it. It does have travel time, but it's Titan's best insta damage super, in my opinion. So that's why it's an S. Golden Gun punishes you for missing, but Titan, if you kind of just fly off the body, just aim at the ground and you do damage. Like, that's kind of it. And it is halfway decent at ad clearance, that's why it's there. Now, Bubble. It's going to be a hot take. And a lot of Titans have not been using the super properly. It's not enough. Not in D. Not in C. Not even in B. I think it's an A. It's an A tier super. Now, hold on, but before y'all get in the comments, like, what are you talking about? What are you thinking? What are you doing? What are you doing? You call yourself a Titan main and putting Bubble up here. I'm putting it right here. I don't think it's better than Needlestorm or the rest of these supers, but I do think it's better than Chaos Reach. Okay. Titans, let's talk here. Say Titan. Titan main. Bubble is bad in raids. It's bad in raids specifically. That's where it's bad. Because there's a lot of people that are highly unlikely to not have a Warlock here. And being realistic, you can use Axes and Bastion with the Barricade. So you really don't need to use this super. But, and also you don't necessarily need a, hey, I need to revive kind of situation, you know, because somebody else could just get the revive. It's bad in raids. Specifically for 6 people, in my opinion. Because also, a lot of things could go wrong. You can accidentally rocket yourself. Some people will actually just, you know, kill themselves with grenade launchers in a bubble, right? But Bubble does have some case use situations. One is pairing it with Stasis Titans. Is very good. Very good. And Titans, you have 2 options with Bubble. In a dungeon situation, if a boss is up close, this is one of the best. Well, that's not one of the. This is the best super to use with no backup plans. Because, unlike before, the biggest issue with Bubble was the fact that once your overshoot was broken, on no backup plan specifically, once your overshoot was broken, you had to constantly dip back in, so it made it really difficult to use it on more aggressive bosses where you could use a shotgun. That's no longer the case here. I have used it on Ekthar and Ghost of the Deep recently with Legend of Acrius, no backup plans. I was pumping out damage. I was out DPSing hunters with like Lament and everything. So, if my kinetic weapon was Wastelander with Pugilist and to get my shield throw back and Vorpal weapon. So, because Vorpal's actually good on special weapons. But yeah, you have an option there, and if you're in a Grandmaster setting, if you have an overload, use Le Monarch. Use Le Monarch. Do not use a GL or anything like that. Use Le Monarch. You get your bubble back so often. It's helpful because people can hide behind it if it's a really good panic super, because you can stay alive in there. If enemies try to walk in there, they get blinded and everything, right? So it gives people time to run. And also, if you need a super to like, hey, I need to really get this revive, bam, play slap it down. It's good in like GMs and dungeons. It's just not good in raids. That's why it's this low in A. I'll actually put it a little bit lower. It's better than a Sentinel Shield, because Sentinel Shield, in my opinion, doesn't really have any void relations to it. It doesn't do volatile. I think that's his biggest struggle with it. But Bubble, you offensive bulwark. Offensive bulwark. So yeah, Bubble's actually really good. Better than what people give it credit for. It's the bad part is if the user dies, the bubble disappears. It's not super likely to happen though, especially now that you're getting a constant overshield. And if you're using Le Monarch with it, I would suggest using Helmsate 14 for the extra damage, because that is helpful. Now, Glacial Quake. Again, this is another problem, and this is why I'm going to put it at bottom of B. It's not, I don't think it's as bad as the Stasis one. The Stasis one is just, ugh. But the Glacial Quake is, it can't hit flying enemies! Like, if enemy is flying too high, it can't do shit! It can't do shit! And another big problem is, you have to be at a specified distance for it to be effective. For damage, it's extremely inconsistent at boss damage, and from ad clearing, the crystals don't auto-explode. So you have to freeze the first, then melee. It's not good. It's not great. It's better than the rest of these because it is serviceable, and it does do good damage when it works, but it just has so many issues with it. So many issues. So that's why it's going in bottom of B. It's not terrible. Do I think it's the worst out of the Stasis supers currently? No, but as far as Titans go, Titans don't have a lot of great supers. Storm's Edge, I actually don't know where the super would be. So let me know in the comments below where Storm's Edge would be. I have not seen any hunters using it. But for now, I'll just put at bottom of B. Hunters, let me know in the comments below. This is the only Hunter super that I have never ever used. So do let me know in the comments if, you know, this is a good super or not. I just don't know. I know it's good in PvP, but I don't know if it's good in PvE. Axes, axes, axes. I'm putting it in A for sure. It's for sure better than Mova. For sure better than a lot of these. Putting it here. In the top section of A. Axes is a pretty solid damage super. I don't know if I can speak for a lot of other Titans, but I actually don't like the Axes spawning in. Because there's so many interactables now in the game. Like with Prismatic, you might accidentally, you will want to pick up a Diamond Lance, but you might pick up an Axe. It's just a little bit too many things to interact with, and I feel like the secondary delayed explosion is enough. I just... If the Axes were to spawn, I'd rather it not spawn at the boss. I'd rather it spawn at my feet. So once I land after casting Axes, I can just pick up the Axe, do some movement tech forward, and slam down. That's my nitpick with Axes. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Song of Flame. Song of Flame is actually really good. I've seen a lot of Warlocks using this. But I think it's definitely probably the best Warlock super. There's so many things you can feed into, but kind of the issue is, in my opinion, Song of Flame isn't necessarily unique. It's essentially Transcendence. But Transcendence is strictly solar. But it's really good, is the thing. Is it better than Hammer of Soul? No. I think Hammer of Soul is slightly better than Song of Flame due to... Hammer of Soul has so many things that work with it, and it can be built into so many things as well. But Song of Flame is really solid. I am not going to be talking about the Prismatic stuff, because Prismatic does not have a super, it just only has a grenade. Transcendence, the Prismatic only has a new grenade, and that's it. So I'm not going to put that there. But on that note, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Let me know what y'all disagree with, what y'all might agree with. Give me your hottest takes. Give me your hottest takes on this tier list. In my opinion, if I were to say 3 extremely hot takes in this tier list, I think Bubble is going to be a hot take for a lot of people. I think Bubble's going to be a hot take. Nova Bomb might be the hot take for Warlocks. And for Hunters, I don't know. I feel like I hit Hunters on the nail. Except, I would say Blades. A lot of Hunters might disagree with. I can see Blades or both Tethers being up here. I just don't have enough experience with both of them. I use both of them about equally. It's just they're situational. One is for single target, one is for ad clearing, but they're both really good for what they do. But yeah, Hunters, let me know where you would put Storm's Edge. On that note, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.